film with friends, missing VHS videotape repeating.
Welcome back, guys, to a haul video and a little bit of story time. So this audio cassette briefcase I bought several years ago, and I want to say a Red Racks, some thrift store, I think, in North Kansas City. I was using it to store the few cassette tapes that I had, but I don't like, it's just something junky about it. So I swapped it out with this one that we've seen on the channel before. I just got this one a few weeks ago. But before I go into the new tapes I've been finding, I figured we'd go do a quick story time with the old tapes I had. So back when I first started working at this movie theater in Kansas City, Missouri, I drove this old Nissan truck. It was like a 95, and it didn't have a CD player. It just had a tape deck until I put a CD player. I drove it out there for like 4 years, listening to mixtapes and tapes that I copied from CD tapes myself. And then I put a CD player in it in 2004. But so this tape was, I think, probably one of the second or thirds. So this is from 12/29/03. I was going to continue to use it, but then ended up not. But what I did was I record full albums on it, and then when I was done, after listening to that, one album one side for however long, I swap it out. But I was keeping track of what albums I put on there. So this side A, at one point in time, had Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Then I had Flaming Lips, Yoshimi Battles, and Pink Robots. Then I had Abandoned Pools, Humanistic. And then side B had Ben Folds 5, Unauthorized Biography of Reinhold Messner, Coheed and Cambria, Keeping Secrets Silent for 3, and then Air, Premier Symptoms. So the plan was to continue doing that tape and log every album that had ever been on there. But obviously I stopped there because that's probably right around the time I put in a CD player. There was another one before this, I think, that I did fill up, that I might have somewhere else. And it's not here, but it might be in my memento case. This tape here is called Demos. This is recordings of an old friend of mine named Franklin. So he did Shine for Brighter Tomorrow Takes 1 and 2, Pennies in a Fountain, Shine for Better Tomorrow, a different version. Those are songs that he wrote and performed on guitar. And then there's some banter, and then a Sam Demas cover of the Ataris, and then a song called Gestation and Pamela 36 Take 1, which are two songs based off poems that I wrote at that time. Pamela 36 Take 1 being a reference to a Francois Truffaut movie. But you have to watch the English language one to get it, because if you watch it in French, you don't get that same line. It's weird. So I do have these audio recordings transferred onto digital, so they're somewhere in the archive. And I have a copy of The Crow original soundtrack. I forget where I got this. I had two. I have this one, and I have one that was an import that my daughter stole. And she stole my Sunny Day Real Estate, How It Feels to Be Something On cassette, which was just a cassette. It didn't have the liners. This is From a Goat to a Fly. This is a mixtape from an old girlfriend of mine that we dated. We were together-ish, 2001-ish to 2004-ish. Although we were technically only boyfriend-girlfriend from 2002 to 2003-ish. But I don't even recall what's on this tape. I'll have to put it in some point and listen to it. But her nickname was Goat, because when she laughed, she kind of laughed like a goat. And I forget why she called me Fly, but both her and her sister called me Fly. And this is a pack of Nakatomi Plaza cards that came with some Die Hard videos that I bought. I think it was originally from Loot Crate, so they threw it in. I've seen playing cards collectors that collect playing cards, and they keep them in shelves like this VHS audio shelf from Napa Valley. They have audio cassette size ones, which my friend Jonathan at Bose has a couple on his wall, but they keep their playing cards in there. So I decided I'd keep some playing cards in there. And down here we have the Smokey and the Bandit soundtrack. Had that for a while. A friend of mine gave me that. So yeah, I'm probably eventually going to look for weird cassettes that I like, of bands I actually like, random, funny, stupid ones, and then a lot of movie soundtracks. And this is called House Party 4 by Dr. Dre Records. I don't know how many of these there are, but it's got to be less than like a couple hundred. This was a release from some guys I went to high school with my brother. And I forget Yeah, I think they called themselves Thulium at the time. This was in the mid to late 90s. My brother was probably junior, and those guys were like a year above him, I think. So this was like 96, 97 probably. I was just recording of some of these songs that these guys in his band. He played in the band, the marching band, school band with them. But their name was Thulium because that was the 69th element on the periodic table of elements. But then they ended up staying together for a while, changing their name to Anything But Joey. And they played a lot of shows and were together for a couple years. I saw them once or twice, and they actually have at least 2 CDs released that I have somewhere in the archive. We'll see those maybe one day. But one of the guys, who I won't say his name, but his name is first name is Matt. But he was the film projectionist at an AMC theater in Ward Parkway. So sometimes I'd go there to get pick up a spare film print. If like if they always kept like one spare film print of each movie in like a localized theater. That way, if there's an issue with a print at one theater, there's already one in town. You can just go swap it out. So we used to get a lot of film prints from this other theater. Or when they were done with one, I'd drive over, pick it up, take it to our theater. But that guy's last name would be on a lot of these film prints because we used to make the print up. We write all the information on it, and then we write, the last name of the person that built it. So I used to get a lot of the film prints with this guy's name on it. He may still work for AMC because a friend of mine I worked with at Alamo went to AMC, and I think he still works there. And then these are still brand new in the package. These are releases from a band called Anakin, which there's a CD box set as well, released by Kenobi Records. There's a CD boxed set that I have somewhere in a cool black box, and has the same kind of color-coded system to the different albums. Now this is a band that originally started, I want to say, in Lawrence, and then I think they moved out to California now. There's a guy named Brad, who I want to say it was Random Access Memories, like their first album. They were doing a Kickstarter to raise money for. This is like 2011 maybe, and so I donated a bunch of money because I was donating money to a lot of locally based stuff, things out of Lawrence, things out of Kansas City. So I talked to them online a few times, and there's a song of theirs I actually like all their music. It's really cool, very spacey, very kind of Failure-ish, very Hum-ish. But yeah, so when they released these, I bought these, and they've remained in the cassettes. Now I don't know if the liner notes of these have it, but in the liner notes of the CDs, my name's actually in there, as like not like a producer, but like, we wish to thank these people, because we helped to fund the first album. But I still follow those guys. They're really good music, really, like I said, really spacey, really kind of cool. But yeah, so that's my current tape archive. If I have any more in storage, I can't think of where they'd be. But just the other day, I stopped off at SAVERS on my scoop route. Maybe if I said it. My bad. Oh, I'm tired. Not sure if I've said it before. But I got a third job scooping yards from removing dog waste. And so I just drive around all day listening to music and scooping people's yards. And I make a lot of stops at Quick Trip for drinks and use the bathroom. And whenever I can, I pop into a SAVERS or whatnot real quick. I went in there the other day because it was raining like crazy. So I went in to get some towels to put in my truck so my seats don't get soaked. But while I was in there, I got what you're about to see. So we'll put these away. Or I guess we'll keep that open because I'm going to put these tapes in there. But as I said with this one and with The Crow, I might collect movie soundtracks. So I got The Big Chill. I said that as if there's going to be another movie soundtrack, but that was it. And I got this #1 hit mix featuring Arrested Development, Boyz II Men, Color Me Bad, PM Dawn, Right Said Fred, Sir Mix-a-Lot, and a couple others. Thought this was fun. My friend Jonathan, I showed him this. He's like, "What PM Dawn song is on there?" And I was like, "Oh, they had more than one." But because of course it was Set Adrift on Memory Bliss. And then I got this, Spin Doctors, Pocket Full of Kryptonite. I know you're jealous. So I have all these cassette things. I'm trying to slowly fill them up as years go by. If I can find stuff I actually like, early pop punk stuff on tape, I'll do that. The first RX Bandits release as Pharmaceutical Bandits was on a cassette tape. That's really, really hard. Get that out of the way. Alright, now on to VHS. So I got this 2-tape set, the Rodgers and Hammerstein collection, Sound of Music, CBS Fox video tag on the side. I don't recall if I had this edition or not, but I picked it up. Like I said, I've been buying so much stuff lately. Even though at the beginning of the year I said I was going to go light on VHS collecting, And now I think I've literally bought more than I've bought collectively, like my entire life. I probably bought more VHS in the past 3 months than all the 25 years before. So I don't know anything about these, but it just looked interesting. Armistead and Maupin's Tales of the City, Volume 1, from Polygram Video. Volume 2. You ever notice I say 2? I don't say 2, I say 2. And Volume 3. Yeah, don't know anything about those. They were just sitting on the shelf. They're numbered, so I figured I'd check them out. I got this unopened copy of Hamlet, Mel Gibson, Glenn Close. It's a family classic, red tag, Warner Home Video. Still has the $8.97 price tag up there. Down here's the $16.97 price tag that's Best Buy. So that's pretty cool. Adding to the Warner Brothers collection. And going along with that Warner Brothers collection, I got this copy of Caddyshack. Orange Tag Comedy. I think I had this in the black clamshell. I don't recall. I know I have another copy of Caddyshack on VHS as well, but not that one, I don't think. And this is definitely not usually my cup of tea, but Funny Girl and Funny Lady Collector's Edition 2-tape set. It's weird the amount of Barbra Streisand movies I've purchased in the past couple months. But it's a 2-tape box set. You know I like box sets, so it's an interesting piece. Got that there. And the final one is another copy of Lawrence of Arabia. There's just some tape there that I don't care for, but the other one I have has a mailing label on it. This is the 2-tape set, Lawrence of Arabia, the CBS, or the Columbia Pictures RCA release. So I said I'm collecting as many of these as I can, even if they're doubles. I'm going to get a whole bunch of them together and sell them as a lot on eBay. But I won't be able to do that till I make the move, because everything's in boxes. So, all those cassettes, all these VHS, that was my haul. Had a little bit of a story time there. Hope you found it somewhat interesting. Oh, and then the last piece is my daughter went on a trip with her mother to Chicago this past weekend. And she texted me saying she got something, but she didn't tell me what it was, so she got home. Turned out to be this. Newfound Glory, Make the Most of It. Audio cassette. Released 2023. So I looked into it, and I found it on Apple Music. And I think it's live acoustic recordings. These songs are either all brand new or they're off albums they came from albums I've never really listened to. But all these on the other side are definitely live acoustic versions of old songs. Dressed to Kill, My Friends Over You, Hit or Miss, Understatement, All Done Here From Here. Those are old Drive-Thru Records releases. What's really interesting about this is it's released by Revelation. Revelation Records are kind of known to be more kind of hardcore kind of rock. The only other Revelations band I can think of that I really ever got into was a band called Elliot, which I'm still a big fan of Elliot. So this Revelation Records release 199 audio cassette. That's a pretty cool find. So this is technically hers, but she steals my stuff, so I should steal it. But you can actually order this on Amazon right now. I think that's so strange that you can buy audio cassettes on Amazon again. We really are going cyclical in our technology. Let me know what you guys think. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.